Jay-Z is being targeted, and the people he betrayed are coming back for revenge. Gene Deal has just revealed that Jay-Z is next on the hit list, and even Beyoncé is preparing to step away. Not only that, but Diddy has distanced himself from Jay-Z for not supporting him during the trial.
It's kind of funny to me, man, is that Diddy used to hate Jay-Z. He hated Jay-Z enough when he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay-Z. This is back in the early 2000s.
Did Diddy always say negative things about Jay around you?
The time he was trying to get Ja Rule to go at Jay, yeah, he was. They worked it out.
Was there a reason behind it?
I couldn't tell you the reason behind it. It was probably because Big had died. I don't know what it was, man. I don't know why he wanted Ja Rule to go at Jay. I guess if he kept them beefing or kept them into some bullshit, he could rise up in between both of them. You know what I mean? It definitely was some snake shit.
Jay-Z isn't new to violence, and the only thing different in this situation is that Jay is now on the receiving end. Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal have been saying this for years. Both Jay-Z and Diddy are violent, dangerous individuals. It's only a matter of time before karma catches up to them. Diddy ended up in prison, but for Jay-Z, the consequences could be far worse.
Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince. These four gentlemen that got together, they're going to put up $30 million apiece.
Contemplating doing the first black-owned distribution company.
The thing is, they wasn't trying to let us in the door. That's why I don't trust these people.
But Suge came up with the idea. It was a brilliant plan. He said, whatever the recording fund is, 10% goes to the union. Each time you do a new album, 10%. It was going to be some get down or lay down shit. Shortly after that, the feds raided me.
All of us was being hit up around the same time. Someone left that meeting talking about our move.
It was Jay-Z and Puff that went to those Leo Corner to let them know what Suge Knight was trying to do. They told Jay, if you help us get rid of Dame, we're going to make you the president of Def Jam.
Why don't we stick together and they got to come to us? For some reason, everybody just wants to do everything on their own. They don't understand collective economics.
The industry views Jay-Z as a rat, and let's not forget that he paid Lance Rivera to stay quiet about the stabbing. Jay-Z actually pleaded guilty to third-degree assault for stabbing Lance Rivera back in December 1999. However, Lance still insists that Jay-Z never stabbed him. Why is that? Lance knows he has to stay quiet.
A top rap star is busted.
Jay-Z turned himself in tonight, and the cops started working on his rap sheet, accusing him of a stabbing at a trendy party.
Kimberly Richardson is at Midtown South right now. Kimberly.
Well, Rosanna, just a few hours ago, police here at Midtown South arrested Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z. The rap star voluntarily turned himself in here at the precinct earlier this evening. Now, Carter is being held here in connection with that stabbing fight that erupted at the Kit Kat Club last night. But just a few moments ago, Carter's attorney had this to say.
He's not involved in this, period.
He was at the club?
That's my only comment. He wasn't involved in this.
So it was someone else that did the stabbing and the hitting?
I didn't say that. I said he was not involved in it.
Now, Slovis goes on to say that at no time was Jay-Z hiding from the police, that they were in touch with cops all day and that they're trying to resolve this as gentlemen. But as Mike Sheehan shows us, others say they've seen the dark side of Jay-Z.
I have my faults. You know, I'm not a perfect person.
Jay-Z shows no remorse or regret for what he did. In fact, he's out there giving interviews, saying that stabbing Lance Rivera was the best thing that ever happened to him. How much of a monster do you have to be to say that stabbing someone was the best thing you've ever done? At the same time, Jay-Z is forcing Lance to stay quiet. Everyone at the Kit Kat Club that day saw what happened. The only one claiming Jay-Z didn't stab Lance is Lance himself.
You had an incident with Rivera, you know, where you pled guilty to charges of, I don't remember exactly the charges, assault with a deadly weapon? Is it?
They would have never let me be out here with you if that was the case.
You stabbed him. Okay, all right. Do you feel like that was a mistake in hindsight?
I believe that was the greatest thing ever. This is gonna sound crazy, but I believe that helped me. You know what I'm saying? Because that put the brakes on everything. That let me know that no matter how successful you are and how much you're on your road, it can all stop. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you still kid from Marcy Projects, and you know, not everybody, they waiting for you to mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, go ahead. you know what I'm saying, we let you just go ahead and self-destruct yourself. You know what I'm saying? But that right there was a moment I was like, okay. You know, and I'm glad they didn't have to take for me to be in jail for like 7 years to be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? That moment was like, okay, all that stops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to parties with 30 people, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not putting myself in that position no more.
When you look at Dame still kind of living that life, you know, you could find Dame at the club, you know.
Yeah, but he's with 30 models. It's a little different. I was with the hood.
Yeah, okay. That's a good point. He's hanging at a different kind of club now.
Right. First it was Diddy, and now it's Jay-Z. Someone is going after all the villains in Hollywood, and it's only a matter of time before Jay gets what he deserves. Ice Cube said that he fully believes Diddy was targeted and that his downfall was orchestrated. One day, Diddy is a billionaire flying in private jets around the world, and less than a year later, he's lost $700 million and is behind bars. Something doesn't add up.
Diddy. You're hearing Diddy everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with him?
He produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, the Peace Disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he gave us great music. We flew out to New York, and I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And you know, I really kind of, you know, lost contact with him and really stopped, you know, dealing with Puffy around 94. Yeah.
Any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And, you know, I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. I ain't never really wanted to go. But I don't go to a lot of people parties. You know, that just ain't what I'm in it for.
Jay-Z might look tough, but he doesn't have what it takes to actually fight back. Back in 1996, during the heart of the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry, Jay-Z locked himself in his hotel room in Las Vegas out of fear of a confrontation with Tupac. Gene Deal explained that Suge Knight, leader of Death Row Records, had to intervene to calm the situation. He convinced Tupac to leave Jay-Z alone so he could perform on stage.
What's the story behind Jay-Z being afraid to come out his hotel room because of Pac?
All right, what happened is that I guess Pac had got whiffed that Jay-Z was in town. Well, you know he gonna do a show because Jay-Z, he doing a show. But you gotta realize Jay-Z had became an enemy of Pac because I think he had said some was gonna do a song with Big or whatever like that, the whole 9 yards. So Jay is now Pac's enemy too. So Chaz Williams, who was over Black Hands. Black Hands was one of the labels who did that Black Gangster had every artist in New York on. And Chaz, who is now getting into the music business, has become a music executive. And he was once a former gangster who was on American Gangster BET because they had him down for robbing 161 banks. That's what they put in their program and everything. But Chaz was a gangster in New York City that became a music executive. So he gets a phone call saying that Jay is not gonna come out the room because Tupac threatened him. So he's not gonna do his show. Can he make some phone calls, you understand, to get Pac off the bullshit? So I think he may have talked to Big D, and Big D and Eric B called Suge, and Suge was laughing, saying that wasn't him. Because they tried to make it seem like it was Suge that was doing it, but it was Pac. So I guess Suge called Pac. Pac let him go ahead and do his show and everything like that. But Jay was scared to come out his room.
So that story was really true about Jay-Z being afraid to come out his hotel room.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, he was scared. Probably still is scared.
Even Gene wanted to knock Jay's head off. If Jay was really that dangerous, could Gene really be saying this?
Jay-Z, and one time I wanted to knock his head off, because he was being disrespectful. We was in Cancun and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura. And he had brought like 6 people to the club with him and he was only supposed to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from Industry Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. So I'm at the door, I said, yo, Jay, you good? And 3 of your other good, but the other 3 gotta pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you couldn't tell no woman to handle me when I'm talking to you as a man. I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? And then me and him, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you gonna make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because, one, she was beautiful, 2, she's from our block, I wasn't gonna do that to her. So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation, you know what I'm saying? But he was being disrespectful.
Diddy and Jay were involved in the same crimes, and there are eyewitness testimonies to back this up. Everyone in the streets knew that Diddy and Jay were working together. Gene even said he personally knew some minors who were involved with Jay. Jay never got arrested, though. The industry stayed silent and protected him. But just like Diddy, these lies are now being exposed. The truth is coming out, and it's only a matter of time before Jay's empire comes crumbling down, too.
I want to say this to protect myself, that there's stories of Jay talking to underage girls. It was a girl from my block that was 16, 17 years old that Jay was talking to. If she was 17. So there's plenty of stories out there that they might flood the market of Jay talking to underage girls. I heard this kid that is claiming to be his son. His mother was 15 when she conceived him and had him at 16. And Jay refused to do a blood test or anything like that.
From your point of view, because I know you heard the statement that, Jay lawyer came out with about how he wasn't really friends with Diddy. From your point of view, was they really friends or no?
How close was Diddy and Jay-Z? They was close enough that they wasn't playing basketball, they wasn't playing baseball, they wasn't playing football, and they wasn't playing hockey or soccer for Diddy to come on stage, pat him on his ass, and then make the statement to people in the world that can't nobody call me Sean but Jay-Z. Now, I don't know what kind of statement, and I can't say, I wish I could say half a homo, but I know I can't say it. But I don't know what kind of half a homo that is. And you trying to say that you're not close to somebody. You coming on stage, patting them on their ass, and then you making a broad statement to the public, can't nobody call me Sean but Sean Carter. And I heard Jay-Z said the same thing about them. But they were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So, I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
It's not just a coincidence that, around the same time news of Jay-Z being targeted in prison starts to surface, Diddy is also being attacked in prison. In the last 2 months, there have been multiple attempts on Diddy's life. The only reason he's still alive is because a corrections officer nearby saved him. Someone is after Diddy, and that same person is coming after Jay-Z.
Something very scary happened to him. One of his close friends is speaking out and saying that while he was sleeping at the MDC Brooklyn jail, somebody came and put a knife, pressed it to his throat. Now, as I keep digging into the story, they're saying, yes, a correctional officer or a police officer was the one who came and basically helped him out and, quote unquote, saved him. Yes. And so, obviously Diddy's lawyers are trying to use this as a way to just get him even moved to a different location. But right now, everything is kind of staying as is.
Yeah, no, safety, his safety being an issue when he's supposed to be, I think in some sort of protected environment. Remember MDC, isn't that where the Epstein situation happened?
Yeah.
Is he safe though? And you say something about him getting stabbed?
I was going to say, Diddy's team is saying no, he's not going to be safe, because in court, we found out that there was an attempt on Diddy's life, that there was a man that attempted to shank him, but they stopped it, the correctional officers. And they say Diddy didn't even want people to know that he didn't want to make it a big deal. But of course, they're having that conversation about will he be safe because of who he is and how high profile this case is.
Right.
They're also having a conversation. Mark Geragos is a high profile attorney, a friend of Diddy's, but also the dad of Teeny Geragos, who led Diddy's defense about Diddy potentially being in court. And we can and just attacks on his life, because they say that people look at him as like a trophy or a prize, and to do something to him.
Or what if other inmates hear all of the stuff that we've been hearing in the news all of these weeks, and they scared of Diddy?
That's not how they presented it. I don't.
That's crazy to say Diddy's a trophy. Like, he's looked at as a trophy in jail is crazy.
Call it karma, but Diddy is actually afraid of being sexually assaulted in prison. For the first time in his life, Diddy is on the receiving end of the same violence that he used to deliver.
Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank him once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. And it happens in prison. I mean, you and I could tick off how many times we are aware of somebody getting seriously injured or killed in prison. And so they're going to have to keep him somewhere that they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he had gotten less time and had been at a camp, but he's going to be in a facility where somebody's going to have to, from the BOP, and I think they're well equipped to do it if they can, to keep an eye on him, because he is a target.
So let's say he is sent to a minimum security prison. Is he out of the woods when it comes to that kind of assault?
If you're going, you and I talked about Ghislaine Maxwell, who went from the one place in Florida, which was a higher level, not a camp. And she was transferred after she did the interview with the couple-day interview. She was transferred to what they call a camp in Texas, which I'm familiar with. I've had other clients in.
Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted or violently assaulted? Is that a real possibility? Based on what was said in court, it seems like it is. Yeah, it clearly is a real possibility. I mean, they've already tried to shank him once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. This happens in prison, and you and I could list how many times we've heard of someone getting seriously injured or killed in there. They're going to have to keep him somewhere where they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he'd received less time and was placed in a camp. But now, he'll be in a facility where someone from the Bureau of Prisons, BOP, will need to keep a close watch on him. He's a target. So, let's say he's sent to a minimum security prison. Would he be out of danger when it comes to assault? Well, we talked about Ghislaine Maxwell, who went from a higher-level facility in Florida to a camp in Texas after her interview. I've had other clients in that kind of camp.
The lawyers, when they were speaking on Diddy being in prison and the circumstances of him being in prison, I didn't never hear about this, and nobody ever said anything about this. And I want to know if it's in the prison records. They said one of the guards stopped a dude from shanking Diddy. Now, I'm like, if he was doing all this positive shit in jail, and they was talking about he was all the inmates loved him and they was employing him and doing standing ovation. I wonder what inmate was trying to shank him. Was that one of the Tupac? Was that one of the Tupac fans, or that was one of the Biggie fans? Because they said that the guard, they said that in court. One of the lawyers, one of the guards stopped one of the individuals that was trying to shank him, bro. And that was crazy. Nobody, I never, that didn't leak. Everything leaks from prison, but that didn't leak. Nobody wrote home and said, yo, dudes is in here trying to stab Diddy up. But the lawyers mentioned that today. I want to see if they're going to investigate that right there. You know what I'm saying? And base that, or he probably used that, base that on trying to help Diddy getting into one of those camps or one of those programs that, you know, he ain't got to worry about nothing.
Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted or violently assaulted? Is that a real possibility? Based on what was said in court, it seems like it is. Yeah, it clearly is a real possibility. I mean, they've already tried to shank him once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. This happens in prison, and you and I could list how many times we've heard of someone getting seriously injured or killed in there. They're going to have to keep him somewhere where they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he'd received less time and was placed in a camp. But now, he'll be in a facility where someone from the Bureau of Prisons, BOP, will need to keep a close watch on him. He's a target. So, let's say he's sent to a minimum security prison. Would he be out of danger when it comes to assault? Well, we talked about Ghislaine Maxwell, who went from a higher-level facility in Florida to a camp in Texas after her interview. I've had other clients in that kind of camp.
How does it go on for so long? You know, when we were on the street, we didn't get a day's rest. I mean, the government was all over us. The FBI is all over us. They got investigations on us. They got informants. They got surveillance equipment.
He was not cutting you off, but he was an informant for years.
Was he really?
Yeah. That's why when people was like, oh, he's going to run, oh, he's not. It's the reason why these type of people get caught up. They always been telling they bigger than the law because they part of the law, you know? And as you know, all these people get tired of their rats sooner or later.
And let's not forget that Jay-Z doesn't have the same kind of protection as Diddy. Diddy was working with the government as an informant. Jay-Z, on the other hand, was only protected by other industry elites. If these elites are tired of him, it means no one is protecting Jay anymore.
I mean, what this guy did is disgusting. I don't think there's a person alive, a man or a woman, especially women, who are not going to hate this guy. Whatever he did was completely disgusting. It's beyond criminal. I don't even know what it is. I look at it like he disgraced everybody. He disgraced the black race by being a black man. I know a lot of black people, and they hate him for it because it painted a picture towards all of them. I think it's being followed all over the world. If he's not found guilty or he's cut free or he does a short amount of time, I mean, I could only imagine what the whole world would think. This is a disgusting country. So there's a lot of things.
Sammy, if you would, give me your comparison. I mean, listen, guys in the mob did some terrible, terrible things. The murders were gruesome and violent and painful, and they served a purpose. They were meant to terrify people into staying in line, right? Compare that to the things that you've heard alleged from the witness stand and testimony under oath from a lot of these young women and some of the young men who were his assistants. Compare the guys in the mob to the stuff you're hearing alleged against Diddy.
If we did that in the mob, we would be for it. We would never touch women and children and stuff like that. So that's against our rules, our principles. We would never get away with something like that. There was a guy, Roy DeMeo and Gas Pipe, who became serial killers for no reason, and they were killed. So, I mean, if he was in the mafia, he would, and we knew what he was doing, he would have been, there would be no trial.
The kind of crimes Diddy and Jay were involved in put their lives in danger. Michael Francesi, a former capo in the Colombo crime family who spent years behind bars, says that if someone like Diddy were in the mafia, they'd have him eliminated the moment they found out what he had been doing. Not even organized crime families condone what Diddy was doing to women. It's the same situation with Jay-Z.
Like I said, Biggie died, Tupac died, and then there was the fight between who was the top rapper now, Nas and Jay-Z, and then the next thing you know, Nas has a nervous breakdown and he's taken out of the game, and it's all Jay-Z.
It's all Jay-Z.
It's all Jay-Z. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all those records together. They both, Aaliyah, they shared so much in common. You know? And then there was a falling out. And that's like it never happened. Whoever talks about best of the both worlds, best of both worlds. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody talks about this shit.
Jay-Z got rid of everyone who could have helped him, and now he's all alone. The only person who could have helped him is Diddy, but he's behind bars. The shocking thing is that not even Diddy will be open to helping Jay now. Jay completely abandoned his alleged best friend the second he was in trouble. Why would Diddy do anything to help Jay now?
It's all about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know that nobody in America liked that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies. They're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them. And they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey, buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape.
It's not just Jay-Z who is betraying the people around him for success. Diddy was actually collecting blackmail. Both of them used violence and manipulation to get where they are now. Gene said that Diddy would invite industry elites to his parties, then secretly film them to use the footage as blackmail. Diddy and Jay are two peas in the same pod. Diddy is fighting for his life behind bars. Beyoncé is allegedly preparing to walk away, and the same streets that once protected Jay-Z are now watching him fall. If Gene Deal is right, Jay won't last long. When the truth finally comes out, the industry won't be able to protect him anymore. Thanks for watching. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and catch every update the moment it drops, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chapter in this unfolding downfall.